Assalamualaikum and salam satu Malaysia to all of you. Today, I would like to discuss about or to elaborate about the tacit knowledge, explicit knowledge and implicit knowledge. But before that, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Adi bin Abdul Majid, which is the moderator of this program. So we have our 4 panels here. The first one, which is from our Faculty of Information Management, which is Mr. Shahrul Adib, and the second panel is Mr. Nakiuddin Shafiq, and the last one or the third one is Mr. Muhammad Firdaus. And our last panel is about in overseas. So that one is the surprise one, yeah, on the overseas. So our last panel will be Mr. Hanafi. He on air in the Indonesia. So without further ado, we'd like to start our discussions about the tacit, implicit and explicit knowledge. Alright, so we start with Mr. Sharadi lah.
Yes.
Alright, so how are you, Mr. Sharadi? Or I'll call you Adib Cap?
No, you can call me Adi.
Alright, so how are you, Adib?
I'm fine, thank you very
Oh,
good.
right.
Thank you. How about you?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you.
Yes.
So basically, when we talk about tacit knowledge, implicit and explicit knowledge is a little bit confusing. So that's why I invited all of you to what we call discuss or elaborate more, so that other people or other users will understand more about the this topic lah. And then so for the first one, so I have the question now.
Yes.
Alright. So the first question would be, can you, in your opinion, can you explain or elaborate more in what is knowledge management?
So, before we start to discuss about tacit, implicit and explicit, I would like to touch up a focal point is about the knowledge management. So,
knowledge management?
Yes, yes, Mr. Din. It's about knowledge management.
Yeah.
Knowledge management is the process of gathering, developing, sharing, and the efficient of handling any kind information. Yes, information correctly. So it's about individual, but in an organization also. Yes.
So by having the knowledge management, so we already know the definition or known about the knowledge management. So what about the characteristic of the knowledge management?
Before I go into the characteristic, in other way, knowledge management to improve efficiency, you know. So they have some characteristic. And the first, as we deal with a knowledge from external as well as internal sources. Yes. And the other is a system embed and store knowledge in the business process, product and the services. And the third, I think, is a system objective is the promote, grow, transfer and share knowledge with the organization. Yeah.
So that's all.
Yes,
The
I think
characteristic.
this characteristic I would just stop.
Okay, so all of you already understand about the characteristic of knowledge. So beside the characteristics, it must be the elements that will support the knowledge management to become what we call more meaningful to the users or users that implement the knowledge management in the organization.
Yes.
So can you share a little bit about the elements of knowledge management?
Element of a knowledge management. Basically, they have three element of knowledge. And the first is for the people, and the second is technology, and third is a process. So this is all we can call element of a knowledge management.
That is 3 important elements.
Yes, 3 important element. So the first is people. How people can generate information and knowledge management, and what kind of the process we involve, what and lastly is for the organization how organization handle
Manage.
how and manage the information
in organization.
Yes,
Mm.
yes. The system. I think how to
How-
involve the system in the knowledge management.
Mhm.
So
So
so the system is about the technology is being used in the knowledge management. So
Which means how that system support
The technology.
organization,
Technology,
organization
yes,
support
yes.
the how to manage the information right in the
yes.
organization.
Right. So the system should be what we call update or latest
Ah,
technology
yes.
just to manage the information, right?
Basically,
So the last one would be, so we have people, system, and last one
the process.
process. Also, which means the process of by having the people, technology, so we process the
Process the
outcome.
outcome.
So we will get the benefits by using the information, right?
You get the output.
I understand. So as we all know, by having the knowledge or knowledge management, which means we what we call manage the information, there must be have challenges.
Yes.
So by having the challenges, so in your opinion or in your experience, what is the challenges of the knowledge management in your opinion?
Yeah. As we all know, before we go into the challenges, basically we have a problem. So we try to avoid the problem, and this is for the challenges in terms of the security. So what the problem of security? The challenges is today is to provide the right of level security for knowledge management is a key. For example, is sensitive information should be shield like data personal. Today, data personal is a very important thing because data personal is the secret of the information person. So we would like to take this to secure. Sorry.
So I would like to add on.
Yeah.
So because of personal, what you call, we have Act,
Yeah.
Personal Data Protection 2010, I stated that data of the personal data is valuable. So anybody can use the data for bad purposes,
Yes.
such as by say what we call viral the bad things, right? So nowadays the viral words is
Yes.
very
It's powerful.
powerful.
During
Yes.
knowledge is I would like to say
We
How
measure
to-
the knowledge.
oh, this is not the this is not a very to quantify the
Oh.
measuring the knowledge. So very this is something that can
I get it. So
Yes.
it's nowadays the information is what we call overload. Yeah.
Overload.
So, yeah, they want to use challenges. So by having the what we call manage of the knowledge, so we can manage the challenges of the information. So we know what is true, what is not, and then what is reliable and what is not reliable. So I think that is his point.
Yes.
Yeah, information is all the redundant of the information.
Information.
Yeah, correct. That's good.
valuable data generate by a group in organization actually. Individual may need a validate before being distributed, keeping information current. So I would like to say keeping information current. Today's a very many information and the data in the such as in the website, in the book, in the library, museum, or anything place, sources information place. So the keeping data accurate is a more important and the challenges to in the knowledge management. Yes.
That's correct. Okay, so in my opinion, so nowadays we have a latest technology, everybody using gadgets, so anything else. So information, when we talk about information, there's a lot of information. So either we need to use the correct way of the information or find the correct information by using what we call terms. Yeah, by using the correct term, you will get the what we call the topic itself. So you need to know whether the information is true or not. So by having the knowledge management, so we can implement ourselves to what we call to avoid or to to secure the data itself, to use the data in the proper way.
Yes.
So we already know about the challenges of knowledge management. So I think that's a good explanation by you, Mr. Adi, right? Alright, so we have know about the knowledge management, the characteristics, the elements, and also the challenges of the knowledge management. So we would like to continue with our second topic, which is tacit knowledge, explicit knowledge, and implicit knowledge. So for this topic, Mr. What can I call you, Mr.?
Mr. Din.
Din,
Yeah.
right? Din Bramboy.
Din
So, this is
So-
my friend before we spread the work, go to the work.
So as we can see, Mr. Din wearing the Liverpool cloth.
Yeah.
So how are you feeling when you on the Premier League table number 2?
It's very difficult question. It's about what we call it, luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's divided by 1 point only. 1 point. Liverpool and Manchester City.
It must be a saddest thing. So the Liverpool already wait 20 years.
Yes, it's a long time.
Very dramatically.
Yeah.
Alright, so we focus it on this topic.
Yeah.
So I would like to know, or anybody here would like to know about the what we call the definition of tacit knowledge, implicit knowledge, and explicit knowledge. So without further ado, you can the place is yours.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you to my brother, Mr. Adib, and our handsome moderator, also Adib. Pronounced Adib because his name have double E. Yeah, Adib.
Yes.
Okay. My topic is about definition of tacit knowledge. Rather than that, I have explicit and implicit. In my opinion, tacit is about approach, emphasis, understanding the kind of knowledge that individuals in an organization have, moving people to transfer the knowledge which an organization means that tacit is about what inside in our mind. Yeah. What inside in our mind did not out where anywhere. Yes.
Alright. So by meaning that tacit knowledge is something like the information is buried in our mind.
Yes.
It's not written down there. Right?
Yes, written
So
down.
anybody's like people does not understand what in our mind. So that one is the tacit knowledge, right?
Tacit. If I'm not mistaken, it's about our experience in our mind. Macam experience in our mind is in our brain.
I'm very agree with you all of the point you all have discussed. So, in my opinion, is tacit is so what is in the mind, human mind through
Human mind.
such as experience, job, the whole day. He have
What about
to-
you, Fidas? What about you think about the tacit?
Definitely, like you mentioned before this, what something in our mind. Right?
Our mind.
Maybe another example is how we want to speak can be tacit knowledge because before we go to the primary school or secondary school, we also know how to speak the language. Even though we do have a proper class, we do have a proper rules, but we know how to speak.
Yeah, correct. Because everybody has their own style.
Own
Right?
style.
So that one is the tacit knowledge.
Tacit
So
knowledge.
what about the explicit knowledge?
Explicit. Explicit from island from Japanese people. From the Nanoka and Takuichi. Yeah. Nanoka and Takuichi is the woman. Yeah,
The woman.
Woman.
I thought it's
Woman. Either two, woman or man in our word. Okay.
Alright.
Okay. For the explicit, it's about rationality. Rationality and trends to be metaphysical and objective. Often relates to past events or object there and then oriented towards a context-free theory. Means that explicit is about we documented in our mind like books, encyclopedia, magazines.
When like tacit knowledge
Yeah.
is at our minds.
Our
so
minds.
explicit we express it
Express our
written down
Yes.
to the paper. So that one is
Ah.
the explicit.
Yes, like we express our feeling to do the non-verbal. Yes, like that.
Alright.
So when we express to the book, to the article, or in terms of the paper, so the knowledge is a very easily to identify. Yes.
Yeah, correct. So because basically when we written down so that we know, for example like oral history,
Yeah.
somebody said, for example like in
Or
our
history, like we familiar with that
Yeah.
subject.
The subject from the UITM in the UITM.
yeah, which part? That's part 5, right?
Yes,
Yes,
part
yeah,
five.
part
Yeah.
So on the oral history, you recorded all the information so that the information can be written down to the oral history, right? So that one will be valuable information so that the next generation will look up into the information
Yes.
itself. So that one is the explicit knowledge. So what about the implicit knowledge?
Implicit. Implicit is about the embedded knowledge. It's found like rules, process, manuals, organization, culture, codes of conduct, ethics, and product.
So by meaning that is the different understanding.
Yes, different understanding. Understanding from like the rules. The people understand that the rules means different what supposed to be mean.
So the one is the implicit knowledge.
Yeah.
Alright. So
Okay. We have talked about the tacit, the explicit, and implicit. I just want to know from the moderator.
Alright.
What about you think the characteristic of the tacit knowledge?
alright. So thank you for the question.
Yeah.
So basically the moderator asked the panel,
Yeah.
right? So the panel asked the question. Alright.
It is extraordinary. Yes.
Alright. So from our discussion or from our panels discuss about the tacit knowledge, implicit knowledge and explicit knowledge, right? So based on my opinion, so my understanding, we start from the definition itself lah. Tacit knowledge is something that we bear in our mind. Then explicit knowledge is something that we want on the inside of our mind, so that we written down to the books or papers. So that one is become the information. That one is the explicit knowledge, right? So on the implicit knowledge, something that what I understand is something like different understanding between people for an organization. So they have different culture, different understanding in the organization, right? So on the characteristic of the tacit knowledge, when we talk about the tacit knowledge, something that bear in our mind. So it's just like
Get to share.
the one that is difficult to share because nobody knows inside our mind, right?
Yeah.
Unless you are an X-Men hero.
X-Men hero.
Charles
That's it.
Xavier, right?
Yeah.
So basically it cannot be shared, and then tacit knowledge is more to what we call I might say skills or technique instead.
Okay.
Know how, know what, know why.
Yes.
Right. So like know
who.
Yeah, know who, right?
Yeah.
So know why is something like we know something that we need to do, but why we need to do. And then know how. When we talk about know how, it's something like when we cook, right? We know about the recipe, but how to cook the
recipe.
So on what we call explicit knowledge. Explicit knowledge is the characteristic is what we call is more formal,
More formal.
more independent because it has been written down.
Written down,
So
yes.
people or user is already know. They can read, so they can get a little bit knowledge.
Yeah.
So about the last one is what? The
Implicit.
Implicit, yeah.
Different
Implicit,
understanding.
different understanding.
Yeah.
So the characteristic, what can I see here is different understanding, like Mr. Firdaus said just now. About
Talk.
everybody has different understanding.
Yeah.
How they talk, how they deliver the message, how they receive the message. So that one is in my opinion lah. Okay, so the next topic we like to what we call elaborate more lah by Mr. Firdaus regarding this topic. So we already know about the knowledge management, we already know about the tacit, explicit and implicit knowledge, and then we also know about the what we call the characteristic of the tacit knowledge, explicit knowledge and implicit knowledge. So without further ado, we would like to what we call get the idea of our third panel, which is Mr. Firdaus, right? So
Yes.
can I call him Firdaus, right? Alright. So Mr. Firdaus, in your opinion, what do you think about
This topic.
this topic?
Okay, actually, when we're talking about the information, we're talking about knowledge. Every day, for every single day, we're gonna learn and we're gonna learn, we're gonna receive, and we're gonna produce the knowledge to others. So when we're talking about the explicit, tacit, and also what?
Implicit.
Implicit.
Yeah.
So according to the Nanauka and Takakoichi, and I also have another result from Swami Vivekananda.
Swami Wakanda.
Yes, Swami Vivekananda.
Vivekananda.
I thought the
Wakanda.
Black Panther one.
Wakanda forever.
Yeah.
Endgame.
So I got the same result. Both of the researchers give the result. The tacit knowledge is more than explicit knowledge. So we, according to the Nanukanda and Takuichi, they said they see 20% is explicit. That's
Explicit.
something written down. There we can touch, we can organize. Okay, so the tacit knowledge from the another result Swami Vivekananda told us 55 is tacit knowledge and only 5% for explicit knowledge. So we can see the same result. So we're talking about the tacit knowledge. Tacit knowledge actually, based my understanding, is something is cannot easily to transfer, to transmit, because it's all in our mind, and it's involve the experience, and also is a personal know by the individual, and content is too specific to understand. So such as the tacit knowledge, we nowadays about we can give example is body language. Body language is the most important element in communication, right?
Yeah.
So I can't tell them, and I can to share how the body language can support your speech, how to you communicate. Is automatic respond to us.
Yeah.
So another is is about the social skill, such as communication skill, leadership, and salesperson. There are no rules or training rules and can guarantee you be a good communication skill. You can be good in communication skill, leadership, but it comes from your experience.
Yeah, experiences.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now when we talking about the explicit, right? Explicit something we written down. So explicit knowledge, we still use such as books, document. Why we use that kind of what we call material? We use the explicit knowledge is to support to our activity.
Yeah.
Yes, we need the evidence. We need evidence to to make the decision making,
Yes, correct.
we need to evidence to achieve or to get our target. So Tacit, Explicit is need to working together to get the
To get
result.
results.
Maybe we can get result to from the humans, from the staff itself. They can improve the communication skill. Then we can improve the skill. So both of this result can improve the organization's performance. So that is my understanding about those explicit Tacit knowledge.
Alright, so I think this topic is what we call is good discussion.
Good discussion.
Yeah, so because it's what we call it's related to our daily life.
Yes.
It's related to our organization, so that we can improve ourselves in terms of communication, speech,
Yes.
and like Mr. Firdaus says, our leadership.
Our leadership.
So people nowadays, leadership is a common thing that we need in organizations. So by having a good communication leadership, so it might have a what we call chances to improve the organizations or chances to get promoted in the organization. So without further ado, we already have the last panel.
Last panel.
Yeah, in the
The
Indonesia.
other country,
From
yeah.
from the Indonesia, which is Mr.
Which
Hanafi.
Jakarta.
I think if I'm not mistaken, it's in Jakarta.
Jakarta.
Yeah,
Oh.
Jakarta.
Jakarta.
So,
from
overseas.
Indonesia.
Yeah.
So what
So
of the topic he would
Cover.
like to
cover. Okay.
Share.
share?
If I'm not mistaken, when he said last time he would like to share the all of his opinion, overall opinion of this topic, and then it will be concluded by Mr. Hanafi himself. So it's very good for our panels.
Yeah, it's on air.
It's on air. Yeah, right now it's
So
on air.
it's on air. So we would like to know. Hi, Mr. Hanafi. So today we have a discuss about the Tacit, Implicit, and Explicit.
Implicit. Not forget the knowledge management.
Knowledge management,
Yeah.
about knowledge management.
So without further ado, you can start your sharing.
Okay, alright guys, thank you for having me. I'm Hanafi from Indonesia. Hello guys. Okay, how are you doing? Okay, right now we are talking about tacit knowledge and explicit knowledge. Alright. Okay, as we can know, to be sure and frankly, the definition of tacit knowledge is it is unwritten, unspoken, and also hidden vast storehouse of knowledge that being held by practically of every normal human being. Okay, as we can see, tacit knowledge is based on experience, storytelling, and also the people who talk about that information. And then the other point is explicit knowledge, right? Okay, explicit knowledge is the information that has been written down. Okay, what is explicit knowledge that has been written down is something like the story that have been told before, and then we have record, and also we have write down and also made a copy for that story and also information. Okay, that is basically about tacit knowledge and explicit knowledge. Okay, in the other point is, okay, what I would like to give that info is explicit knowledge and tacit knowledge also can be divided also in tangible and also intangible aspect for the information. Okay, what is tangible? Okay, tangible also we can connect with tacit knowledge, because tangible is something that can we touch, something that can we hold, and also something that can we show to others before we going to inform to others what is exactly tangible, and also connect with the tacit knowledge. Okay, tangible is the most widely accepted definition, is something that we can touch, as I mentioned before, and then also it is affected by the law of gravity and so on. Okay, in this world, information services also we can refer to the physical resources, something like books, computer, shelves, counter services, and also people that we ask for the information. Okay, there is also something like eventually expect and also point what is tangible. This is design, equipment, also ambience. So, and then for the intangible also is we cannot assess that, we cannot felt, we cannot measure or also move, because it is not physical substance. Because intangible is mean we can touch, we cannot touch. I'm sorry. Okay, for the intangible also in other point also something like we having a patents, copyright, goodwill, closing cost for the research. Alright, and there is a comparison also intangible and also tangible. Okay, intangible also information as a knowledge, but tangible information as a thing, right guys? Okay, for the process of the intangible is information as a process, how we gain that information, how we retrieve that information, that is intangible. Okay, for the intangible also information processing that we gain from the one that give the intangible information, and they make copies, they show the books and something like printed material to us. Alright, okay. Other than that, I would like to share with you guys. Okay, tacit knowledge also is a subjective to us, and it also what have we learned, what have been experienced by ourselves, and it also cannot be expressed in word sentence. We have to face it. So this is tacit knowledge, and then after we tell to the others, it will be, and it will become explicit knowledge. Okay, for the definition of explicit knowledge, as well as I mentioned before, is objective rational knowledge, and that can be expressed in words. So there will outcome something like theoretical approach, problem solving, and also manual, and also database. Okay, for me to be conclude about tacit knowledge and explicit knowledge, they have slight similarities, but we have to face each other. We have to connect between tacit knowledge and explicit knowledge, so that will be the dynamic interaction of information. I think that's all from me. Okay guys, we are good to go about this project, and also I believe in you guys. So I see you in the other side. Alright guys, bye.
Alright, Mr. Rafi, thank you for your sharing about the these topics. We tacit, implicit, and explicit. Tacit, explicit, and implicit knowledge, and also not forget the knowledge management. So, may the information that Mr. Hanafi shared to all of us or to our audience itself will be can be implemented in our daily life. So, I think that's all from this topic, from the discussion. Thank you to our panels. Come here to share this knowledge.
Yes,
thank you to
information. Yeah.
So before we would like to end of the discussion, may I to promote our product. This is from my organization. So we have a publish of the some of the article about the knowledge management. So we to promote to audience this article about the knowledge management for the 23 ringgit Malaysia.
Alright, so we have a promoter here. He promotes about the critical about the knowledge management. So alright, thank you for coming today. So I think this is our end session about this topic. So thank you for coming, and you can enjoy your meals after.
What meals?
Yeah.
What meals?
There's lots of meals. So later you can enjoy the meals, and I think that's all. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Thank you.